Once upon a time, in the village of Ananseyi, there lived an old woman that was filled with wisdom and good nature. She actually exuded it. All the villagers respected her and often did menial jobs for her to make her comfortable. In the evenings, children in the village often gathered in her house and she would tell them stories about nature, the need for silence, and the golden blessings of silence and quietness. One day, when she was telling the stories as usual, Okpochini, a young boy of 13, asked her a question. "Greetings, great wise one," he said to her in respect. "Why do you always tell us that it is important to be more silent and listen than to always talk and chat?" She asked the old woman. Little one," she responded, smiling and baring her toothless mouth. "Silence is golden. When you listen silently, you learn a lot. But when you always talk, you learn less." "Oh!" exclaimed Okpochini, smiling, his eyes surveying the other children around. "And besides that," the old woman continued, "when you are silent and alone with nature, at times, nature can start communicating with you. Don't you know all living things in nature talk?" "What?" exclaimed Azuka, another boy sitting close by. "Great mother, you mean we should sit alone somewhere silently and be doing what?" My dear young man, I mean sit quietly, admire and appreciate nature," she replied. "Yes, as you do that, you experience a lot of things." She continued to tell them what they need to appreciate nature, they need to sit silently, and a kind of meditation. The children were all enwrapped by her words, and they talked at length that day until they left the woman. The next day, Okpochini went to an open place and sat down under a tree. He silently stared around him in front of him, his eyes roaming the environment, and he did as the wise old woman had said. And for the first time in his life, he started to notice the beauty and serenity of nature. It was as though the winds, the wind was whispering little nothings to him, and he felt a sense of peace and contentment within. Opportunity kept on doing that whenever he was free from work, and gradually he grew attuned and into a young man filled with love and understanding of the feel of nature. One day, while he was thus seated, he heard a voice. The voice said, "Good evening." He looked about him, trying to find out where the voice was coming from, but he could find no one around. There was nobody there. He was all alone. He tensed. "Good evening," the voice came again, and this time Opportunity noticed it was coming from a tree nearby. "Good evening," he responded. I was surprised to hear the tree talking and communicating with him. "There's a sick woman living along your street," this tree said. "The fifth house from your home. You have to pluck the leaves of my tree, boil them with some water, and give them to her to drink," the tree said, "and she will become okay again." "What?" the surprised Okpochini exclaimed. "Yes, of course. You heard me right. You do that and she'll be okay. Quickly, Okpochini got up, plucked some of the leaves off the tree, and hurried back home. He thought he must be hallucinating, but the truth hit him hard when he found out that really there was a sick woman living in the fifth house away from his. The woman had been ill for a long time and she had not yet recovered. They had been taking her from one place to another, but she was still ill. What if it didn't work? Okpochini asked himself doubtfully. As he was doubting and doubting and now doubting, he decided to do what the tree had said. So he summoned up courage and told the family that he had come to try out a herb if it will help the lady. The family were happy and they quickly gave their consent because they were tired of taking her from one place to the other without any solution. So Okpochini quickly boiled the leaves with water and gave the sick woman to drink as the tree had directed. To the surprise of everybody, the woman started getting better. And within 3 days, she was completely healed. A woman that had been sick for a long time was healed within 3 days. Okpochini was surprised. There is power in nature. Wow, there is power in silence. Quickly, he went to the tree and thanked it. And then he went back to the old wise woman and told her everything that had happened. Yes, my dear, that is the power of silence and meditation, my boy. She said, nodding her head happily. Go, you have received the power of nature, and that will help you to help many other people. It's well with you, she said. Okpochini went back home, and from that day, he could hear trees and plants speak. To everyone's amazement, they got to understand that there is power in silence, nature, and meditation. That's the end of the story. Please subscribe, like, and share the videos for my contacts. Check the description below, and thanks for watching.